Tonight, we leave behind the clean sidewalks, the quiet neighborhoods, and the familiar comforts of the modern world. Instead, we travel back nearly 700 years to a place that was alive from sunrise until long after sunset. A place of merchants and craftsmen, church bells and market stalls, stone walls and wooden houses, where thousands of people lived together behind towering gates. It was a city unlike any we know today, busy, colorful, crowded, and unforgettable. But before you notice the magnificent cathedral reaching toward the sky, before you hear the blacksmith's hammer echoing through narrow streets, before you see wagons overflowing with bread, vegetables, and wool, there is something else, something impossible to ignore. The smell. To a modern visitor, it would arrive instantly. Smoke drifting from hundreds of fireplaces, fresh bread baking in stone ovens, horse manure scattered across muddy streets, leather soaking in tanning pits, fish laid across market tables, cooking fires, wet timber, animals, open drains, rain-soaked earth. Thousands of people living close together, inside walls built centuries before. It was not one smell, it was hundreds, layered together, changing with every street, every season, every hour of the day. And yet, for the people who lived there, it simply smelled like home. So tonight, we will walk slowly through a medieval city, discovering where these smells came from, how people lived among them, and why medieval cities were far more complicated than modern myths often suggest. Take a slow breath, settle comfortably, and allow yourself to wander through the city gates. The year is around 1350. The first light of morning is just beginning to brighten the eastern sky. A thin mist hangs over the fields beyond the walls. Farmers are already arriving with wooden carts filled with vegetables, barrels of ale, fresh eggs, bundles of firewood, and sacks of grain harvested from nearby villages. As you approach the great wooden gate, guards wrapped in heavy wool cloaks nod quietly to familiar faces entering the city. The enormous gates slowly swing open. Their thick oak beams creak softly after years of use. Inside, the streets begin to awaken. The city has not yet reached its busiest hour, but life is already stirring. A baker removes the first loaves from a massive stone oven. Warm steam rises into the cool morning air. The rich smell of fresh bread drifts down the street. Nearby, a woman sweeps yesterday's straw from outside her doorway. A merchant unlocks heavy wooden shutters protecting his shop. Across the square, a blacksmith adds fresh charcoal to his forge. Soon, the ringing sound of hammer striking iron echoes between stone buildings. Children hurry through narrow alleys carrying buckets from the public well. Dogs wander hopefully between market stalls in search of scraps. A rooster crows somewhere beyond the rooftops. Church bells begin their first call of the day. For a brief moment, the city feels peaceful, almost gentle. But as the sun climbs higher, everything changes. The streets fill rapidly. Merchants call loudly to passing customers. Horses pull wagons through muddy lanes. Carts rattle across uneven stones. Craftsmen carry lumber. Apprentices rush between workshops. Fishmongers arrange their morning catch upon wooden tables. Butchers prepare fresh meat beneath hanging awnings. Everywhere, people move, talk, trade, work. The medieval city rarely rests. Unlike modern cities filled with engines and machines, its sounds are entirely human. Voices, footsteps, animals, wooden wheels, church bells, flowing water, crackling fires. Every street has its own rhythm, every neighborhood its own character. But with thousands of people living close together, waste becomes unavoidable. Most medieval cities had no underground sewer systems like those we know today. Rainwater flowed through shallow gutters beside the streets. These channels carried away much of the water after storms. But they also collected mud, animal waste, food scraps, ashes from fireplaces, and countless other things that households discarded each day. When rain fell heavily, the streets became flowing streams of muddy water. When rain failed to arrive, the same streets slowly dried beneath the summer sun. And with the warmth, the smells grew stronger, much stronger. The horses alone transformed the city. Almost every wagon, every merchant, every noble visitor, and many travelers depended upon horses. Each animal produced large amounts of manure every single day. Without modern sanitation crews, removing all of it proved nearly impossible. Street sweepers worked constantly. Wheelbarrows carried waste away. Laborers shoveled mud and manure into carts. But the work never truly ended. Every morning there was more. Meanwhile, dogs wandered freely through the city. Pigs sometimes searched for scraps near marketplaces. Chickens crossed narrow lanes. Geese wandered noisily through open squares. Animals were not separated from daily life. They were part of it. Their smells became part of the city's identity. As you continue walking, you notice another scent beginning to dominate the air. It is stronger, sharper, less pleasant. Ahead, a row of workshops lines the edge of a small stream. Here, the tanners transform animal hides into leather. Leather was essential in medieval life. Shoes, belts, horse saddles, book covers, armor straps. Countless everyday objects depended upon it. But making leather required a long and unpleasant process. Fresh hides first had to be cleaned, hair removed, fat scraped away. The hides were then soaked in mixtures that modern visitors would find shocking. Some tanning methods used fermented liquids, rotting organic materials, and even human or animal urine. The ammonia helped soften the hides and prepare them for tanning. The smell was overwhelming. Even medieval writers sometimes complained about living near tanneries. For this reason, many cities placed these workshops along rivers, away from wealthier neighborhoods whenever possible. The flowing water helped wash away some of the waste, but it could never remove all of it. As the breeze shifts, the scent drifts across nearby streets, mixing with smoke, fresh bread, wet wood, and the countless other aromas of the medieval city. And for the people who passed these workshops every day, it became just another ordinary part of life.